division between Tufts University Blue and Worcester Polytechnic Institute. My name is Andrew Howe, and today I'm joined by Adi Polyparikh here in the Tufts University's Science and Engineering Complex, and it is an honor to be here to witness JumboCast's first dive into the esports scene.
For those of you who may be new to League of Legends, the game essentially falls into the multiplayer online battle arena category. There are two teams with 5 players on each side, and each team controls one side of the map. They both have one base with 3 lanes coming out of it, one in the top, one in the middle, and one in the bottom of the map. Each lane has towers in it, and inside the base there are 2 more towers, 3 inhibitors, and 1 nexus. The goal of the game is to destroy the other team's nexus while protecting yours. During the game, the two teams try to build up strength by gaining gold to spend on items and experience to level up. These two things usually come from killing enemy units. Typically, there are 5 roles: the top laner, the jungler, the mid laner, the AD carry, and the support.
Oh, sorry. And so yeah, thank you, Adi, for the description. I had a bit of an audio issue there, so I didn't catch when you finished that there. But yeah, there are over 500 teams from colleges all across the country competing here in the Collegiate Star League. Teams have been divided into divisions based on region, where they'll play a best-of-3 round robin over the coming months, with the top team from each division making their way into the playoffs this spring. The Tufts Jumbo's first match will be against the WPI Engineers, as we've mentioned before. But before we talk about the WPI Engineers, we got to take a look at the Jumbo's main roster. Taking a look at the rosters here, we got Easy Life in the top lane, Morn in the jungle, Argentine Import in the mid lane, with bot lane Jiansu and Constantine Valtor. Adi, I just want to go down the line here and start talking about the players for a little bit. So I guess first up would be Easy Life up in top.
Yeah, so Easy Life, he is the top laner for Tufts. So essentially his role is to start off residing in the top part of the map, laning against the other top laner. And typically he likes to play this one champion called Shen. He's been playing it for quite a while, and he's pretty proficient at it. But he's also able to play some other champions like Maokai and Garen, which he has a decent amount of games on the split. Next off in the jungle role, we have Morn. I personally know Morn a lot better than a lot of the rest of the players because I've known him for quite a bit, and he's a pretty good jungler. Recently, he's been playing a lot of Olaf and Kha'Zix, which is really cool to see because back in the day, he played a lot of Kha'Zix. Like when I used to play with him, like whenever he had Kha'Zix on my team, I was very happy. Other than that, he's been playing a lot of Nidalee recently, and he has a really mean Jarvan that not only has been doing really good recently, but also was very good when he played in a different league over the summer. In the mid lane, we have Argentine Import. His job is to stay in the middle lane. He usually is a support main and likes to play a lot of Bard, but that shouldn't make you think that he's not a good mid laner, because he is. I have had the pleasure of watching his mid lane performances, and he's pretty good at it. He likes to play like a lot of mages like Vladimir and like Orianna and stuff, but he also has the ability to play some assassins like Echo. Down in the bottom lane, like you said, we have Jiansu and Constantine Valador. Jiansu recently has been playing a decent amount of utility ADCs, like the meta suggests. He plays Senna, Ashe, and Jhin, but he has brought the Samira out a bit, and I'm really interested to see if the Samira does end up coming out during these games today, because it's a new champion, and I really want to see how it can play in a 5v5 kind of pre-made matchup. And then with Constantine Valador as a support, I've seen him play a lot of ADC, but he also has a really mean support. Recently, he's been playing a lot of Leona, but I know, especially this summer, he played a lot of Senna. Oh, sorry, Andrew, I think you're muted.
I certainly want to take a look at Argentine Import once again in the mid lane. Going to be super valuable to this team, coming in from Latin America. Actually, as mentioned in his gamer tag, actually finished challenger a couple of years in the Latin America South scene. So definitely going to be a very exciting match, exciting time to see Argentine import make his way in the middle lane. Going to be really exciting. So meanwhile, we're going to talk a little bit about WPI before we get this draft underway for game one. We got It's My Middle Lane in the top lane. We got Yujing Host Dragon in jungle, and then in the and then for the mid lane we have Tigun, ADC Pizza, and support Kajuip. And so somebody I really want to mention a little bit is Kajuip, the support Adi. He is probably one of the top players here on WPI, but his champ pool is something that I kind of wanted to take a look at.
Yeah, according to his OP.GG, he's been playing a lot of Lux recently, a lot of caster kind of supports, and but he's also been able to like dip in some engaged support champions, which shows that he has a lot of flexibility in that lane.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see if Tufts ends up targeting this Lux in the draft as well as a Nami, just because of his excessive solo queue play on the champion and due to him being a really high rated person. So this game will be we will be conducting the draft not in the client but actually on an app called PentaQ. And once both teams are ready to start, we'll take a look at that. The game side selection is determined by coin toss at the beginning of the game, and Tufts has received red side for the first game, and WPI will be on the blue side. After the next game, the sides will be switching, with Tufts taking blue and WPI taking red. And just going to be a really interesting draft coming up. Adi, do you have any predictions about what's going to go down here in the draft for the game one?
I think some of the top lane will be targeted a little bit. Both sides have top laners that like to favor certain champions. Like I said before, Easy Life plays a lot of Shen, and It's My Middle Lane in the top lane has actually played a lot of Skarner top, which is a really interesting pick. And I really want to see if Tufts is going to respect the pick and try to take it away, or if they're going to play into it and let him take that pick.
And it looks like, yeah, definitely a very off-meta pick almost, Skarner top, but it will be really interesting to see if It's My Middle Lane will end up pulling off that Skarner in the middle lane. I mean, in the top lane, sorry, even though his name is the middle lane. So the draft has begun, and first of all, we're going to see the Samira being taken away first for the side of WPI, once again targeting Jansu in that bottom lane, followed by a Skarner ban, as we mentioned before, against It's My Middle Lane. Next up, we're going to have Ashe banned away from WPI, and Tufts will probably be looking for that Lux once again, as I said before, going against their support. And Adi, going through this first rotation of bans, what do you think about the first four so far?
I'm actually having a little bit of technical difficulties. The website's still loading for me, but what I've heard so far, Ashe and Samira, I think they're pretty standard bans. Ashe has been pretty dominating in the ADC role for a long time because she has the ability to have a lot of utility and apply some agency, which is great, especially when the AD carry role is not super strong. So it makes sense to see it banned away. And Samira, it kind of makes sense. Samira's a new champion. You know, it might be hard to see like how she might play in this like 5v5 format. She has a lot of explosive power, and it's I like the respect to take that away.
Kha'Zix will be taken away once again for Morn in one of his comfort picks, actually. And we're going to see Shen being the first lock-in here for the side of WPI on the blue side. It's My Middle Lane. One of his most played champions outside of that Skarn top is the Shen, and also a very heavy comfort pick of Easy Life. So definitely pretty expected here to see an early Shen pickup, and I expect it to be super heavily contested in the rest of this draft.
Yeah, I really like the first pick, Shen. I mean, not only does it take a champion that Easy Life really likes, but ever since Riot decided to add a little bit more shield power on the passive for Shen, he has just been dominating solo queue and also professional play. He just has so much lane pressure and has the ability to affect all the lanes with his global ultimate.
Galio locked in for the side of Tufts, probably going towards that middle lane for Argentine import, and we're going to see what this final pick is for this first rotation of the draft for Tufts. I would expect to see some sort of top lane counter pick, and it is. That's going to be the Mordekaiser being locked in for Tufts University. It has that legacy icon, hasn't been updated as of late apparently, but very interesting to see that Mord being locked in to counter the Shen.
Yeah, and I really like the Mordekaiser. I mean, it's just a pretty decent matchup. It has the ability to try to keep Shen in that lane with the ultimate, with the E, and in the same way that Shen can like bring someone into a fight, Mordekaiser can take someone out. So I think it's gonna be really interesting. Another thing I want to say is I really like the Galio pick, because as Shen has that global presence, the Galio can try to match it a little bit, being in the middle lane and affecting the rest of the map.
Oriana has been locked in, as well as the Jarvan for WPI. And Adi, if you're looking at this first 3 picks for WPI, you're seeing a bit of a wombo combo comp. You got Jarvan coming in with the Cataclysm along with the Shockwave on top of him. Stand United coming in as well. Going to be a really huge team fighting presence for the side of WPI.
Yeah, not only do they have that great team fight, but they also have a lot of dive potential. Just putting that Shen ultimate on a Jarvan can have some really nasty engages later. It seems that like so far WPI is going for more of those like 5v5 kind of fights, whereas Tufts is trying to make sure they have some map pressure and also take that 1v1 in the top lane.
As Hecarim will be locked away here for Morn. Looks like both sides elected to choose the top side of their map first in the draft. We're going to head into the second phase of the bans, where we're likely to see lots of bans targeted towards that bottom lane, as those are the only positions that have not been locked in yet. But Adi, looking at this first half of the draft, what kind of comps are you really seeing from each side?
Well, I mean, like I was talking before, WPI has that team fighting diving comp, whereas I think Tufts, it seems like they're just gonna like try to make plays around that like mid and jungle. Like Hecarim and Galio are just super strong picks. Galio can like shadow the jungler like really easily, having the ability of the ultimate to just go and assist whenever he needs to or whenever the ability is up. And Hecarim is just really strong, has the ability to get onto the backline really fast, has a lot of dueling pressure and can also add some really scary ganks. But of course, there's a Jarvan on WPI, so we will see who can apply more pressure.
And supports will be the target here in the second phase of the bans. We see Janna, Taric, Yuumi, and Leona all taken away from this game. We will see Cadreeve's Nami still being left available. It will be interesting to see if Tufts has some sort of answer for it, because it really is a bit confusing to see WPI's best player's best champion still being left up after all the support bans. But we're going to see Rakan being locked in for Constantine Valdor down in the bot lane, leaving Jansu for the counter pick here in the.
Yeah, I really like the Rakan pick here. I mean, just with the Galio, it just like leaves again a lot of room for a wombo combo, just with the Rakan ultimate and W locking people up for a long time, and then the Galio car coming down and providing a massive knockup.
It's going to be Nautilus locked in WPI, so no Nami here, and Nautilus will be a good counter pick to this Rakan. Going to be able to lock him down in lane, going to prevent him from really dashing over and all over the place. As long as you get that CC down, it's something that Nautilus is very good at. This Rakan can be rendered pretty obsolete, as Kai'Sa will be the final here. For the side of WPI, rounding out this,
infamous, like ever since Kai'Sa really came out, just the ability for Nautilus to apply so many stacks and lock people up, and allowing Kai'Sa to get a lot of damage in really early just makes that lane super dominating. And one other thing that like makes Nautilus different than a lot of the other like Leona like supports is that like he kind of like pulls them in and then locks them down for a really long time. So it allows it makes up for the fact that Kai'Sa has such short range.
Jansu is still left to be locking in this final pick of the draft for game 1. Probably going to see something probably a little bit more on the long range side, just to counter the Kai'Sa would be my prediction. But it will be interesting to see what Jansu picks to round out this composition in the AD carry role. And it will be the Jhin. So a very strong lane here with the Jhin Rakan against this Kai'Sa Nautilus. Bot lane will be looking very interesting here for this side. I'm going to expect a lot of heavy skirmishes in the early game, as both supports are really strong and engaging, and we'll probably be looking for a lot of trades. So Adi, looking at this draft, what are your thoughts on these compositions?
I think team fight wise, I probably favor WPI a little more, but it is like relatively even. They both have a lot of engage tools, the ability to like apply a lot of combos and a lot of crowd control. But I think it's really going to come down to early game execution. Who's going to set themselves up into the mid game and late game the best? Because with picks like Shen, Jarvan, Oriana, Nautilus, and then Hecarim, Galio, and Rakan, it's really going to come down to like who's going to be able to like contest those objectives and get those advantages in the mid game to carry them through.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see Argentine import on this Galio, a more supportive champion in his role. As somebody who's typically considered to be very highly rated and a very good, solid mechanical player, seeing him on somebody more simple like Galio will be a really interesting way, really interesting look dive into this composition. So, as this pro draft has finished, we are going to take a short break as we head into the game, and we'll see you very soon on Summoner's Rift right after this quick break. 2, 1, play. Are we live? Hello and welcome to Summoner's Rift, ladies and gentlemen. We got WPI against Tufts here in the Collegiate Star League Week 1. This is game 1 of a best of 3. Once again, I am Andrew Howe, joined here by Adi Palparik. And Adi, going into this game, what are your expectations for how this matchup is going to go?
Again, like we were talking about in Champ Select, they both have relatively good team fighting teams. You know, they have the ability to like have that jungle and mid lane skirmish. There's the Shen after level 6 can apply a lot of support. So it's really going to see like who can come into that mid game with a bit of an advantage and like execute those fights well. But before we like really start talking into it, I really want to look at the rune choice for our Argentine import. It may have been a mistake because that rune Guardian only procs. It gives a shield whenever an ally like in a certain radius from you takes a certain amount of damage, and since he is alone in lane, he's probably not going to proc it very often. So unless he is planning on skirmishing a lot with Morn in the jungle and supporting him, the rune won't be very effective.
Yeah, Guardian Galio is something I don't typically see. I actually don't think I've ever seen Guardian Galio in a position other than maybe Galio support. Typically, you would go for something like an Aftershock or even a Predator. But yeah, Guardian is definitely going to be a really interesting thing, either showing that Argentine import is going for a super supportive build, maybe even going for like something like more tank items, or he just had a little misclick in the runes and will be going for more of a standard build. So we're going to see topside starts for both of our junglers here, as Easy Life and It's My Middle Lane will be leashing Morn and using Host Dragon, sorry. And it looks like both junglers are going to be going for a bit of a full clear, going straight to their Krugs and Groms respectively.
Yeah, and a little more about that Galio and the rune choice. Regardless if it was a mistake or not having Aftershock in this lane will make it a lot harder for Galio, as Galio can't get those extra armor and magic resist stats to help himself in the lane. So Orianna should have a little bit more of an easy time bullying him out.
Things are going pretty standard as of now. We see a little bit of a trade here in the bot lane. It looks like Pizza has been caught up. Ignite's been blown already. Constantine Valdor has gone aggressively into this lane, and Tufts have come out on top in this first trade of the series. Oh, and there's a flash. A Q auto over the bouncing grenades from Johnson will do it, and that is first blood right as I finish my sentence. Tufts picks up first blood, and the first kills here of the C-Star League will go to the Jumbos here on Jansu's Jin.
And also, I think that was a little disrespectful from the Kaisa, not respecting the Rakan walking up. Rakan and Jin have the ability to lock you up for a really long time, and they execute damage from the Jin. Easy flash forward to execute the Kaisa and get that first blood. Yeah,
incredible job. A bit of, yeah, as you said, bit disrespectful here from Pizza. Died with both summoners up, and Catch Reap did not end up using either summoner as well. While it could be a bit of a problem for them, we're going to see Argentine import be dove in here in the jungle, using Host Dragon, using the Flagging Dragon, going to be forcing the flash out of the Galio, going to be trying to find a way out, but he's in a bit of a sticky situation in the blue side area. So it's going to be a little bit tough for him to try and get back out, but Morn is looking for a bit of an engage here onto the Jarvan. Flagging Dragon has already been used onto the Rift Scuttlers. That means that gives Morn free reign and lots of damage here. Constantine Valdor has joined the fight as well, going to land a grand entrance onto the Jarvan, and it looks like Morn is trying to chase him down, has the red buff ticking, using Host Dragon, has the Flagging Dragon once again to try and get back out, but once a really nice trade coming out there from Tufts, surviving the gank there from the Jarvan and chunking him out from Morn. Really good job. Going to be able to secure probably both crabs here.
And obviously, you know, good from Tufts. They get a little bit of advantage there. Grab that Scuttle Crab, trading the flashes. But I feel ultimately I would rather have the flash on the Galio than the Jarvan. Like, yes, the EQ flash from Jarvan has a lot of kill potential, but the fact that Galio is now flashes in the mid lane, like, has room for the regank from the Jarvan.
Taking a look at the other lanes here, we see It's My Middle Lane taking up a very nice CS lead over Easy Life's Mordekaiser for now. Once again, it looks like this lane should be Mordekaiser favorite in general, so a really good job on the Shen for picking up some of this early CS, and that damage can't really be mistaken from in that queue. You can't really ignore that. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Argentine import, despite basically not having a keystone, is really pressuring off Weapon here in the mid lane, having a nearly 16 CS lead here. Nice trade in the top lane as well.
Yeah, I think the Shen just really has to abuse those first 5 levels when Shen really has the advantage. Because as soon as it hits level 6, Mordekaiser gets an ultimate, and the Shen essentially doesn't. Because as the ultimate is very, very powerful and can help others on the map, it doesn't really help you in the 1v1 in the top lane.
Back and forth trades going on so far. We do see Argentine Import pick up that Hextech Revolver, which will mean he's probably going to be going for an early Proto Belt. So it looks like his builds will not be changing despite the change in Keystone. Will be interesting to see his thoughts on the Guardian after this game. So yeah, it would be a really interesting thing to see. Gold has swung about 1,000 in favor of the Jumbos though, and it looks like a lot of that has been in the CS difference in the top and in the mid and bot lane. Sorry, as Argentine Import and Jansu have picked up a considerable CS lead, as well as the first blood going over to Jin.
Yeah. And I think one other thing to point out is that although the Galio has that Guardian, like the fact that he is doing so well in lane means that Guardian actually relatively useful as you get into those skirmishes and those mid-game team fights. So maybe it actually is just a big brain room choice.
Actually has an XP lead over weapon as well. Yeah, so it looks like Shockwave has not been unlocked yet for this Orianna, but it's going to be, once again, very useful. As soon as these level 6s start to unlock for the side of WPI, it's going to be their time to go. You have the Shockwave on the side of weapon, as well as the Stand United for It's My Middle Lane, just becoming unlocked. So with this Jarvan coming in, could be a really big source of damage in any coming ganks here for the side of WPI. It's something that Tufts definitely has to look out for.
Yeah. And I think another good thing is the Shen's about to hit level 6, so good job.
Oh. Speaking of Shen hitting level 6, looks like Jarvan nearly was taken out there by Morn and a brilliant use of the Stand United. And even though it does save Yujing Host Dragon's life, it's going to give Easy Life a lot of free reign here in the top lane, maybe even going to be able to pick up some plates. So really a great job from Morn gathering so much pressure here and getting a lot of resources out of the WPI team early on in this game. We're going to see a gank here in the mid lane. This Ghost has been popped already. Here's Hero's entrance in as well with a double knockup, and Pizza is going to be the first one falling, and Kadreep is the next. It's going to be 2 straight kills going over to the Jumbos. A brilliant play. Knowing that the Shen ultimate is not available, really great job from the side of Tufts. They're going to be heading over to this Mountain Dragon to secure the first objective of this game.
Yeah, that's really a smart play from Tufts. Tufts like expended next to nothing in order to get that play, to get that Shen ultimate out, and they were just able to come down ball lane and use that wombo combo that we were talking about, the CC from the Rakan, the Hecarim, and then the Hero's entrance coming down. It's after the WPI ball lane's in that position, there is really no way for them to escape that.
Morn has just finished up that Mountain Dragon. Going to be the first dragon of the game. It's going to see Infernal spawning next, so either a Cloud or an Ocean Soul coming for this game. Definitely both sides would prefer one of those over the other. So looking at the teams right now, Jansu is far and away super ahead of this Kai'Sa. He has the BF and Pickaxe, essentially a 1,300 gold lead in terms of pure damage against this Kai'Sa, and it's going to be really hard for this Kai'Sa to try and scale up as she tries to go for this Muramana build. But yeah, you don't really unlock on Kai'Sa until you get like that 3-item power spike.
Yeah, and we did talk a little bit about that Kai'Sa Nautilus kill pressure, but just with the Jhin this far ahead, I don't know how much that's actually going to be able to do right now.
Build path has certainly not been accelerated here for the WPI bot lane. Certainly going to be a topic of conversation in the minutes to come. We see a 2,000 gold lead now for the side of Tufts, as it looks like trades are just going back and forth across the map. Argentine Import might actually be getting a little bit low. There's a Shockwave coming in from Weapon. One more QW he might be able to do it, and that's the flash command of Argentine Import. That Nimbus Cloak getting him away very quickly, as that Galio will not be falling today. As Weapon picks up a good trade, but only gets the flash out of Argentine. And
again, if Galio does not have Aftershock, he has Guardian, he has no extra protective stats that he normally has to sort of even out those trades, so he kind of took a lot of damage there.
Morn picking up that level 7. Onslaught of Shadow is available, the Ghost is not, so it looks like with both lanes pushing up here in mid and top, doesn't look like Morn's going to be looking for any ganks as of yet. Vision is just being cleared back and forth here in the bot lane as well. But Adi, as looking at these early game trades, the early game is certainly going in favor of Tufts, but what can WPI do to try and bring this game back into their favor?
I think they just have to start utilizing their resources. Start when that Chen ultimate comes up, try to make some plays with that. Use the Jarvan, the Orianna, the Nautilus Art to try to find some picks and get back into this game.
It looks like that is going to... They're going to try and make that the case. Argentine just chilling in the mid lane, has the components of his proto belt almost ready. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, that Infinity Edge is nearing completion here for Jansu. It's going to be a very scary Jin once he gets that first major item unlocked for himself. We're going to see the gold lead kind of expand a little bit to 2,500 gold. We're going to see Morn go into a bit of an invade here on this in this top side jungle, but Yujing Host Dragon is not one to try and give this up. Here comes the hero's entrance coming out of the Galio to try and peel off some of the damage here. Meanwhile, Death Realm was popped in the top lane. It's my middle lane getting dangerously low against Easy Life, who only has an amplifying tome in terms of damage. So very scary prospects here for this Shen. If you're playing against this Mordekaiser, he only has 15 ability power to his name. Once he gets those even more and more items, it's going to be a very dangerous situation, as Rift Herald is being started up by Tufts as well. It looks like a gank might be incoming here. Yujing Host Dragon is going to come in with a flagging drag. Cataclysm has been popped, and Easy Life will not be able to get a trade kill for himself. That's going to be the first kill of the game for WPI. Headed over onto the Jarvan. Herald has been picked up by Tufts, and Weapon might look to be a bit out of position with the Dragon. Flagging drag coming in from Yujing Host Dragon. Shockwave is available, but not going to be used, and that's just going to be a quick kill for Herald trade on the side of Tufts University.
Yeah, and I like that play in the top lane from WPI, you know, punishing Easy Life for expanding that ultimate, not getting a kill, making it so he doesn't have the ability to just make a gank obsolete.
Oh, lots of damage coming out from Argentine Import, actually. Nearly takes down Weapon there in the mid lane. Very scary Galio without just a lot of AP in his kit, and a lot of base damage. Is going to be very scary in these early trades.
Yeah, just with that revolver, just adds a lot of extra burst damage, and Galio just, when he gets this like combo out, that's a ton of damage that's gonna come on the side of the enemy mid laner.
Morn has the Phage, opted for some early boots actually on the Hecarim. Very useful in terms of just getting some extra movement speed to synergize with this passive. But if you look at the team composition on the side of WPI, there's certainly a lot of crowd control that Morn has to be worried about. You got Nautilus, Shen, even Orianna and Jarvan to an extent. And so it's a very valuable pickup here, these Merc Treads, for the side of Morn.
Sure, and obviously, like I said, it's a Hecarim, gives him extra AD and the ability to like get around the map faster. So very smart purchase for the side of Morn.
Now, Infernal Dragon is spawning in about 10 seconds, and it looks like both sides kind of want to try and contest this. Yujing Host Dragon has made his way over to the Dragon Pit. Bot lane for the side of WPI has actually taken it back, so it looks like they're going to be a little bit out of position for this for the time this Dragon spawns. It's my middle lane doing some work on Easy Life here in the top lane. Death Realm has not been popped yet by the Mordekaiser, but Adaptive Helm is already finished off for It's My Middle Lane. Jansu is going to pick up the Dragon for Tufts, getting a 2-0 Dragon lead. That's going to be a Cloud Soul on the map here, but Easy Life, yeah, definitely punished there by that Adaptive Helm, sorry. And it looks like It's My Middle Lane is kind of taken back control of this lane.
Yeah, we can see just like everything that occurred just because of that gank. You know, the Adaptive Helm was able to be completed, which was really strong against the Mordekaiser, and oh, there's a pick in the mid lane.
A little bit of a late stand United there coming out of It's My Middle Lane. I don't think he needed to do that, but it looks like 3 members of Tufts tried to go in onto Weapon, use the flash to get away, and it looks like all has gone without any blood being spilled here. So yeah, Tufts ends up using a lot of resources. Actually, not a lot, just some kind of a time waster there. It doesn't look like they're not being able to get any kills. Death Realm has been popped here in the top lane, as Easy Life has saw Yujing Host Dragon and knew he had to turn this 2v1 into a 1v1. But in the middle lane, it looks like the gank is happening in against Weapon. Morn using the Onslaught of Shadows to get away. Morn, oh, Easy Life getting the 2v1 kill onto It's My Middle Lane, picking up those stats from the ultimate. Yujing Host Dragon is going to try and finish him off, but that W is coming up very soon for the Mord. No, not in time, as the Jarvan picks that up, and thus it's going to be a 2-for-1 in favor of Tufts, as Easy Life will die, but with a nice outplay here in the 2v1.
It's really well done from Morn. Weapon just blew the flash in the mid lane, and coming in with that repay gank as soon as he walks up a little bit, just really smart from the Hecarim.
Oh, but it looks like Moore might be a little bit out of position. There's a depth charge landing onto the Hecker, and the horse has been knocked down very low, but the curtains have been called. Pizza is taking the shots. Is not going to hit that fourth there for Jansu. So overall, no blood being spilled. Once again, a lot of fights going on, but only 7 kills have been gotten here in the first 15 minutes of this game. That's going to be a turret picked up in the bot lane. That's going as it looks like Tufts has picked up 3 towers for themselves. After that gank in the mid lane, looks like Morn used that Rift Herald to pick up 2 towers. Didn't even end up realizing that. But yeah, a huge swing of gold has gone in favor of the Jumbos. Now 4,500, and it's going to be pretty big for them as they win this mid game. Pretty hard for themselves.
And Tufts is just playing them up, I feel like, a lot better than WPI. Like, the second time we think that Morn is getting picked out somewhere in the enemy jungle, but the Galio and the Rakan and the Jhin are just right there to support him and turn those fights.
Yep, that's going to be, once again, 4,000 gold lead for the side of Tufts. Going to try and get a huge advantage here in this game 1. We see Easy Life actually taken down very low. Nullifying Orb was pop. No, sorry, that was the hero's entrance, and it looks like 3 members of Tufts are coming in to take it down to Shen. One more hit will do it. He is nearly gone. Looks like they're going to try and give it over to Easy Life or something. Maybe even Jansu, but not going to happen. Winds of War are going to come down, but this has certainly got to be a kill. Quickness is popped, and Argentine Import will pick up his 2nd kill of the game against the Shen.
Yeah, I mean, the mid lane, bot lane towers are gone. Tufts just comes up in the top lane and takes down that tower. And that's, again, what we're talking about, the pressure that they're applying all around the map, just like supporting each other, making sure they can get those picks. It's really putting them far ahead.
Looks like Jansu has swapped up with Constantine to this top side after they took the bottom inner outer turret, and it looks like they're about to take their 4th tower, of the game. Really huge lead in terms of map pressure for the side of Tufts, as they have free reign over the entire WPI side of the jungle.
And we talked about how there were like relatively similar comps in the sense that there's a lot of pick potential and like map presence, but the leads that Tufts is able to get and the way they're playing the map just gives them an advantage, and it's really just letting them dominate this mid game.
And it looks like they have gotten so much vision in the top side of the map, swept out everything. The entire top half of the map is black for WPI. They're going to get the 2nd Rift Herald of the game as well. Tufts taken every objective so far, and it's just such a huge lead in this first game of the CSL fall split. Yeah,
and Dragon is coming up, and we see WPI posturing around, so I want to see what Tufts is going to try to do to try to gain control of this Dragon area, or if WPI can hold on.
Oh, there's the dredge line landing onto Moore, and that could be big. Onslaught of Shadows has already been used, and the depth charge will not amount to that much. Jansu is going to pop the curtain call, and there's that 3-man quickness coming in from Constantine. This could be a big fight. Curtains have been called. A huge taunt coming out of Argentine Import, but no deaths have... nobody has been killed yet. There's the Cataclysm onto Jansu. Going to be forced to flash away from that. Jarvan is continuing to get in here, but he is popped very low. There's another dredge line weaving through the minions there for the side of Cashreap, and that's going to be a 1-for-1 so far. Make it a 1v2 actually, as Jarvan will also fall. Make it to 3 as Weapon is also down. Deadly Flourish will hit onto It's My Middle Lane, and he is now running for the hills. Constantine will probably be able to take him down with one more grand entrance, but no! Pizza will end up taking him down with the Q, and Constantine went a little bit too far to try and finish off that 4th kill and making it a 3-for-2 in the side of Tufts. But it looks like the Jumbos are going to try and get this soul point here, as this Cloud Dragon has spawned.
Yeah, that was a really close fight, and there was a bit of a wasted ultimate by the Orianna and the Nautilus, as the Hecarim was just able to use his ultimate to get away. But even still, it was a relatively close fight, and Tufts was barely able to come out on top there.
So after all of that, the dragon was still not taken. Both sides are now available and back alive, but the only thing is a lot of these cooldowns are not available. Flashes are available on nobody on the side of Tufts other than Easy Life. Whereas on the side of WPI, a lot of the summoners and ultimates were popped. No Stand United, no Cataclysm will be available for this upcoming fight. Dragon has been brought significantly low, but it looks like WPI want to contest this. Morn will secure it, but there comes Constantine coming back in. A 4-man Onslaught of Shadows coming in from Morn, and Argentine is here on the flank. That's going to be a wipe for the side of Tufts University. They pick up 4 for themselves. Baron is not yet available as is yet 20 minutes, but a huge team fight win for Tufts as they're going to look for the base of WPI.
And that was, again, just the raw amount of crowd control. The 4-man onslaught of shadows from the Hecarim on side of Tufts just devastated the entire team, WPI.
And they still have the second Rift Trail. They could go for a lot of the base here for the side of Tufts. They're going to be able to probably get another proc here onto a Nexus turret, but with the remainder of WPI about to respawn, could be a little bit risky to go for this. The Rift Trail will probably get off the charge. Yes, he does, but this comes the re-engage for the side of WPI. Shockwave and Cataclysm are going to land onto 2, but Jarvan is the first one down. Jansu is dangerously low, and it looks like the Flash Taunt is going to secure the kill. Hero's Entrance is going to come and knock up 3, though. Death Drum is popped onto Easy Life, onto the Kaisa, and it looks like it's time to run once again for the side of WPI. Morin will dive onto the next turret to pick up a kill onto Weapon, and It's My Middle Lane is trying to do a lot into the backline of Tufts, but it's not going to be enough damage. The final Q is going to land by Easy Life, obliterates the side of the Nautilus, and it's going to be a team fight win inside the WPI base for Tufts, and this could be a disaster for the Engineers. That's going to be Constantine getting another knockup onto It's My Middle Lane, and Pizza is the last man standing. I think they might be able to actually close out this game. This game has erupted into a 9,000 gold lead for the side of Tufts. Using Host Dragon is trying to go in but has no Cataclysm, and there's the knockback once again, pulling him back and taking him down. Pizza will get a shutdown onto Easy Life. Gonna be a lot of gold for himself, but a huge influx of gold going to the way of Tufts as they basically win 3 straight team fights in the same rotation there.
Yeah, and I think it was a nice try from the side of WPI. I really respect the Flash ultimate from the Orianna and the Jarvan coming down, trying to take down that Jhin, but afterwards they just had no more cooldowns, and Tufts is just stronger even without their 80 carry.
Yeah, these are some huge champions for the side of Tufts. You have a 2-item Galio, a 2-item Jhin, and it looks like Easy Life is working towards that second item, has the Fiendish Codex in inventory. Triforce already completed for Morn as well. Going to be a really dangerous time for WPI as they are now so far behind. They do have a Rage Blade and Mana Moon stacking on the side of Pizza, but it's not going to be enough to 1v5 this team. You're going to have to look for some picks or maybe like an entirely huge Wombo combo on the side of WPI if you're going to want to win a fight anytime soon.
I mean, with only one Nexus Tower standing for the side of WPI, I don't really know what more they can do. Again, they have those pick tools, but with almost a 9,000 gold lead, you really have to wonder if it's enough.
Yeah, and every bit of the map has been absorbed by the Jumbos. They're working towards their 7th turret of the game here with this top out inner. And it looks like Baron is on the table for the side of Tufts. I wouldn't be surprised if they just try to rush it and force a fight there at the Baron pit.
And you were talking a little bit about Vision earlier, and there is some blue control wards on the side, like somewhere in the jungle for WPI, but Tufts is just pushing so far up.
Easy Life is going to try and get a pick here onto It's My Middle Lane. Death Drum has been popped. The Shen has nowhere to go. Obliterate without any minions there is going to be able to do that increased damage. It's My Middle Lane has the Adaptive Helm, but he does not have the damage. He does not have the health. It looks like he's going to get away with his life, but at what cost? Baron has been started up for Tufts. There's no Stand United available yet on the Shen. He's going to have to back and try to teleport in if they want to fight. And it looks like it's very late engaged for the side of WPI. It looks like they're going to try and fight though. Using Host Dragon, has a smite, has a Cataclysm available, but Constantine is going to make sure that doesn't happen. Double knockup onto the backline of the side of WPI, and along with the Hero's Entrance, this is an incredible team fight win. Stand United has come on for using Host Dragon, but I don't think it's going to even matter. Jansu is so strong, as well as Argentine Import. That's going to be a double kill for Morn, as the last man standing is the Shen. Jansu has the kiting with the crits, with the Phantom Dancer, and with the grenades, and it looks like the last member of WPI will be going down. Baron is not even needed to finish off this game for Tufts.
And that was a beautiful layering of the crowd control there with the Rakan, with the Galio ultimate, and the beautiful Hecarim Arch perfectly chaining it, so the side of WPI could not react at all until the Galio came down and smashed, and their team was obliterated.
The first Nexus turret is down. It's up to Weapon and Pizza to try and defend the base, but it's not going to happen. There's a stopwatch, but there's way too many minions, and in 24 minutes, Tufts will pick up a very clean win for themselves in Game 1 of this series against WPI.
Yeah, I think around those 3rd or 4th fights, in the end of the mid game, Tufts really had the had it sealed. When WPI had the cooldowns, had the man advantage in their base, was not able to win like 2 or 3 consecutive fights. I think that's where we knew that Tufts really had it in the bag.
And it looks like Tufts was just all over the map and did such a great job at securing every objective for themselves. They had the correct ganks and they played their lanes to nearly perfection. So really great job from the side of Tufts as they pick up their first win and take this match, I guess, to match point as we head into game 2 in just a little bit. But Adi, before we go into that, is there anything on the side of WPI that could be improved on, could be looked at in this next few minutes before we start the next draft up?
Yeah, I mean, I think their draft was relatively good. We saw semblances of them using their utility, using their pick potential to try to gain a little bit of advantage to get back in the game, but it started happening a little too late. So I kind of want to see them sharpen their executions, like with those Ori balls, with those picks for the jungler, and those 2v2 skirmishes, and see if they can start bringing it together a little bit earlier and contest Tufts in this next game.
Yeah, it looked like that team fight composition never really got to its full potential here for the side of WPI. Kaisa never got all 3 of her items completely unlocked with that Nash's Tooth, getting those abilities upgraded. And really, by the time WPI was ready to team fight, it was basically too late. Tufts had taken too much of a commanding lead, and it looked like nothing was going to be able to fix that side of WPI. But we are going to take a quick break before we head into game 2. But stick around because game 2 of WPI versus Tufts University here in the CSL will be coming up right after this break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for game 2 between Tufts and WPI. Tufts University coming out with a very clean win here in this game 1, and it looks like WPI is going to try and come back and try and go for this reverse sweep here. Once again, I'm Andrew Howe, joined here by Adi. And Adi, going into the second draft, do you think there's any changes that we want to see out of WPI because of that near disaster in that first game?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly did not have too much of a problem with the composition that they picked in the first game. I thought it had a really wide variety of pick tools, had a lot of ability to try to gain some advantages, but they just weren't able to execute on it fast enough. So I would say maybe they want to try a different style of composition, or they might just want to run it back and see if they can clean it up.
Yeah, it might be more valuable to try and go for some more aggressive laners. I mean, Oriana and Shen are pretty good in lane, but I do think that it might be better if you can't even get to the team fighting phase of the game for the side of WPI. It might be more useful to try and just go for some more laning, maybe adopt a bit of a different playstyle because the composition that they pulled off in the draft that they pulled off was fairly good, as it really gave them a lot of options in later in the game. But early on, you really need to get ahead in order to try and win this game. So for WPI, I'm going to be looking for strong laners.
Yeah, for sure. And like Kai'Sa Nautilus does have a bit of a strong lane, but maybe something more on the lines of like a Caitlyn or a Senna, which can, be more oppressive.
Yeah, lots of options available, but maybe looking for more counter picks this time, as WBI have gone over to red side once again due to the format of this game. After Tufts got the coin toss to go to red, the next game they will be switching over to the blue side. If the series ends up going to a game 3, there's going to be another coin toss to determine who receives which side. So yeah, going to be really interesting to see how the drafts and how everything kind of changes up because of the side selection. I'm expecting a Hecarim might be taken away here. I do feel like that is one of Morn's strongest champions. I know the Kha'Zix was taken away before, but maybe the Hecarim will be taken away here.
Yeah, and it seems that I think they're getting ready to start the draft right now.
Very exciting. So we are going to head into the PentaQ lobby as the draft will begin. Once again, Tufts is here on the blue side with WPI on the red.
All right, and yeah, I just got confirmation from the players that they're starting the draft now.
And here we are in the PentaQ draft. Skarner once again taken away from the side of Tufts. It looks like they do not want It's My Middle Lane to be pulling out this Skarner top lane, even though it is really an off-meta pick. And I feel like there are a bunch of ways to counter it. It looks like Tufts just does not want them to get their hands on this little Scorpion.
Yeah, and I mean, Skarner is a bit of a niche pick. Like, for a while, the last, like, maybe year, he wasn't really that useful, but recently there were some buffs that made it so he can apply the utility that he's so known for, the stun on his E and the suppress from his ultimate, and apply a lot of pressure. So I like to see Tufts respecting it and giving it the ban.
Lux and Morgana also taken away by Tufts. We're on the red side. We're going to see Samira, Ashe, and Kha'Zix once again being taken away on the side of WPI. Morn once again being targeted on the Kha'Zix. We're in Ashe and Samira being taken away for Jansu. But an interesting change here. We're going to see Tufts take the Shen instead of WPI taking it. Once again, both top laners have a lot of experience on this Shen pick, so I'm really excited to see how Easy Life will play this in regards, in contrast, to It's My Middle Lane.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see Easy Life play out the Shen here. I've talked to him quite a bit about the Shen. Shen is one of the champions I like to play as well, and he's just, like I said before in the last Champ Select, a really strong pick, and I want to see what he can do with it in this game.
And this is really interesting. We're going to see Galio and Hecarim picked up for the side of WPI. Now, remember, these are two of the champions that Tufts picked in their game 1. And so it's really strange to see almost a flip-flop in terms of these team compositions here. We're going to see Tufts pick up the Shen with the Galio Hecarim in response. Adi, what do you think of this?
Well, I mean, we saw what Tufts was able to do with the Hecarim and the Galio, so, I mean, if WPI is trying to say, we saw what you did, we can do it too, I'm all for it. I want to see what they can bring.
It's kind of funny. They just picked the exact same champs that beat them in game 1. We're going to see Vladimir and Leona being taken away for the side of Tufts. Constantine and Argentine Import will be picking those champions up. Leona is definitely a favorite on the side of Constantine, as well as Vladimir. Picked up by Argentine import a fair amount in solo queue and is definitely very comfortable on this champion.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see the Vladimir from Argentina import. I've been able to see it a couple times, and it is pretty good. Yeah, and it allows for him to have a little more of that carry potential in the middle game. It is definitely a little bit weaker early, which means that there won't be as much ability for him to support more in the jungle. But I'm still excited to see what he can do with it.
And Urgot is going to be the final pick here in this phase for the side of WPI. It's my middle lane. We'll be picking up this Urgot who has actually, yeah, very actually turns out it looks like it's a bit of a losing matchup for this Urgot here going against Shen. I mean, he has the Spear's Refuge, going to be able to block a lot of those quick auto attacks coming out from It's My Middle Lane. So very interesting pickup here for the side of WPI. But if It's My Middle Lane can perform on this Urgot, can be a huge factor in the later stages of this game.
Yeah, I think Urgot is really nice here, especially with the Galio on the side of WPI. You know, Urgot has a decent amount of lane damage, and just having the support of the Galio coming up can mean that he can apply a lot of pressure. And like you were saying, you wanted to see some more aggressive, just like strong champions in the lane. Urgot is a champion that, like, going into mid game, going to late, just applying that split push can do a lot of damage and isn't so much focused on that team fight.
Heading into the second phase of the bans now, we're going to see junglers being targeted on the side of WPI as Morn has yet to lock in his champion. Interestingly enough, that Hecarim is still available for the Tufts jungler. We're going to see Nautilus and Taric being taken away for the side of WPI. But once again, leaving that Nami up, it's going to be really interesting to see if he picks it, but he does not. And it looks like WPI will be opting for Braum in this team comp.
Yeah, Braum is a really interesting pick. He applies a lot to the team. He has the ability to put up that wall, block those projectiles, have that engage with the ultimate, and that passive which can apply a stun. But it's interesting because we haven't really seen that many devastating projectiles on the side of Tufts. Most of their pick potential is just their actual bodies applying crowd control to the side of WPI. So we'll see how effective this Braum pick is.
Yeah, normally you see Braum as kind of more of an answer to like something like Ornn, where he's going to be able to use that Unbreakable to block that ultimate coming out. But we're going to see Trundle actually locked in for the side of Tufts University. Very interesting pick. Not really in the meta as much, but Trundle has received some recent buffs, has the Frozen Domain increased attack speed and lower cooldown for the Trundle. So it looks like Morn will be bringing this into the jungle. With a lot of tanky members on the side of WPI, this could be a very valuable pickup here.
Yeah, and I really like the Trundle pick. I mean, we've all us people who played jungle, you know, early season 10, had to experience a Trundle just running into our jungle and taking everything. It's a very strong pick, and like I said, he was just recently buffed in patch 10.21. So I want to see what Morn can do with his Trundle. I've seen Morn play Trundle quite a bit, and he can do a lot with it.
Talking about counters to tanks, though, we're going to see Vayne be the last pick here for Jansu in the bottom lane. Vayne, once again, going to be very useful against these champions like Galio, Urgot, and Braum, just given the fact that her Silver Bullets will be doing max health damage. And it looks like Xayah will be here to round out the team composition for the side of WPI.
Yeah, it's a bit interesting. I mean, Xayah does have the ability to apply those passive autos, or passive really fast for the Braum, as her W gives her attack speed. But it's interesting to see the Xayah pick here with the Braum. Again, talking about that Vayne pick, just the WPI's team can be kited out relatively easily. Hecker might be a little bit harder, but the tumble with the Vayne ultimate just might give a little bit more survivability to the Vayne.
Now, looking at these team comps, Adi, we see a bit of a different playstyle coming out on the side of WPI. Looks like we have a bit of a 4-1 composition coming out, when it probably going to want to be seeing It's My Middle Lane trying to farm in the split in the side lanes. But you do see this Galio once again to provide additional support. What do you really think about these team comps for both of these teams?
Yeah, they're both relatively different than what they picked in the beginning. WPI hinted at picking a similar comp to Tufts in the beginning with the Galio and the Hecarim, but the rest of their comp isn't too much about the picks. It just seems like solid team fighting, you know. And Tufts, it really seems they're just trying to make sure the Vladimir and the Vayne can do as much as they possibly can with the Leona, the Trundle, the Shen. It's a lot of supporting ability for the Vladimir and the Vayne, and they have a lot of crowd control. And given the fact that Vayne and Vladimir are relatively safe carries, with the fact that Vayne can go invisible, with the fact that Vladimir could just go into a pool and dodge a lot of damage, means that Tufts is going to be able to, you know, play around those two carries very well.
Interesting drafts coming out of both sides here. We got to see a really great damage composition coming out on the side of Tufts. You got magic damage on the Vladimir, you got physical damage on the Trundle and Shen, and then you got the true damage coming in on the Vayne. Definitely going to be really hard to itemize against, as WPI is going to try and look to even this series out and prevent a 2-0 sweep coming out of Tufts. We're going to be back with the gameplay here on Summoner's Rift, and right after this short break. We'll see you later. When do we play? Do we could play now? Like now? Hello and welcome to Summoner's Rift here. We got game 2 coming up here between Tufts and WPI. Once again, Tufts has taken the blue side in this game, taking a 1-0 series lead here in this best of 3. Going to be looking for a bit of a sweep here, as WPI is going to try and prevent that 2-0 and even the series out a little bit.
Yeah, and this time we see the Aftershock on the Galio instead of the Guardian. So although Argentine Import was able to come out with a win there, Weapon decided not to follow suit with the Guardian.
Yeah, it looks like even though Argentine Import did pull out the win here in that last game with the Guardian, looks like Weapon will be going for that bit of a more standard rune itemization, rune setup for the Galio, going for the Aftershock for some extra takiness and stuff. Level 1, not too much stuff is going to be happening here, as just a bit of a reset here, going to be picking up some wards, and it looks like both sides are not going to be really interacting with each other early on.
I really like the cleanse on the side of Jiangsu on the Vayne. You know, there is a bit of crowd control on the side of WPI with the Braum and the Galio, which isn't too much, but I mean, just in those later mid-game fights, if she gets snagged by one of those, she wants the ability to immediately cleanse it and go invisible again, so she doesn't get hit by the Hecarim.
Both sides will be starting on their blue buffs for this game. A bit of a difference. We did see in our last game, Morn starting on the red buff on the Hecarim, but it looks like Yujing Host Dragon will be going for the blue buff on this game. But yeah, it looks like once again not too much is going to be happening early on, as these junglers probably just want to get to level 3 as soon as possible before making any sense of any regular gank.
Yeah, and I think without the Jarvan in this game, they're definitely going to be slightly less ganks, at least in the early part of the game. Most of the ganks will probably be coming from the Hecarim, if at all, but the Trundle can apply a lot of pressure, get a lot of farm, and really punish those who are overextending.
Early trades going on back and forth. CS has been going a bit in favor of Morn, just being able to clear a little bit faster than the Hecarim. Going to be going actually for a bit of an invade? No, he looks like he's going to be going for a gank in the top lane. Easy Life has let It's My Middle Lane push up a little bit, has no vision there on the top side, and Morn has level 3, so we will have the pillar available. The E was used by It's Your Middle Lane a little bit early there, and it looks like he's going to be slowed up, taunted up, damaged up, and that's going to be a flash coming out from the side of It's My Middle Lane, but Morn will follow it, and that's going to be Trundle picking up first blood, and the first kill of the game, 2, will be going towards Tufts.
Yeah, and really well executed from the side of Tufts, you know. Trundle was on the top side, Urgot was pretty far up, not using the pillar too early, getting the flash out, flashing forward, and picking up a pretty easy first blood.
Yeah, really great job by Morn. Even though he started on that top side, just did a full top side clear with the machete, has a lot of extra healing there before going up to the top side. And with that level 3, really punishing this Urgot, who is naturally inclined to push up early. We're going to see a gank here in the middle lane here, as Devastating Charge will not be popped on Argentine Import. Brilliant use of the pool to get away from any additional damage coming out of that Hecarim.
Yeah, and really good job, again, inside of Argentine Import, but that's kind of what Vladimir does, you know, with the pool.
Oh, Morn is back, and he's in for another gank, and a brilliant condemn there from Jiangsu, taking down the Xayah. And I'm sorry to interrupt you there, Adi, but another kill going over to the side of Tufts now, but 1.3k gold lead for themselves.
Yeah, and Morn is just doing so much work on this Trundle. 2 ganks already in 4 minutes, and that really good stay on, even through the flash from the pizza.
Yeah, so Morn already has 2 kills to his name. And while he is about to camp behind Yujing Host Dragon, does have those Krugs and Raptors still available for the taking. It looks like both sides just ended up taking 1 crab for themselves, and so it doesn't look like too much of a difference there in terms of experience or gold. And so right now it looks like both junglers are pretty content farming out, but definitely Morn is much happier as he has 2 kills and now 1,500 gold lead for the side of Tufts.
Yeah. On the bright side for WPI, Pizza wasn't missing too much farm there. The wave kind of crashed as Xayah got back to lane, so she's able to pick most of that back up, but there is definitely a lead for the Vayne in the bot lane.
Argentine Import picking up a really nice CS lead here, shoving this wave in It looks like the Winds of War will be able to pick up a couple minions for the side of Weapon, but right now it looks like Argentine definitely has that advantage. And this is that player experience that we were talking about. Argentine import, once again, coming from Challenger here in the Latin America South server. And so definitely going to be a really highly touted pickup here for Tufts here, and really brilliant addition to their lineup.
And for now, Tufts really can just kind of keep doing what they're doing. They have a lot of scaling on their side. They have the Trundle, who, like we saw before, has the ability to just punish WPI for stepping up too far. And I feel like if they just keep going with that, they will probably end up outscaling and winning those like late to mid game fights.
Yeah, it looks like both sides are now just kind of calming down a little bit. Morn has gone more to picking up his jungle camps, farming out, hits up the Bami Cinder already. So it looks like no more additional early game ganks going on just yet, as the lanes are pretty situated pretty evenly throughout. So no side is really pushing too hard. It looks like both all of the laners here are just content with just farming out for the next couple minutes.
Yeah. One thing to also note though, most of WPI's like pick potential and playmaking happens when they all hit level 6, so I really want to see what they can do once they get the ultimate abilities.
Morn is looking for another gank on Ismail middle lane. Doesn't have the ultimate and doesn't have the flash, but look, Eugene Host Dragon is here, and so is Weapon. It looks like a flash out from Easy Life is going to save his life for now, but here's the taunt coming in from Weapon, going to land onto Morn, but Argentine import is here as well. There's a Stand United going in onto the Trundle, and it looks like Ismail middle lane, without a flash, is going to be dead. That's another kill going over to the side of Tufts, as Easy Life picks up his first kill of the game.
Yeah, and really good job from Tufts, you know, just holding WPI there, even though the Galio ultimate came in until Argentine Import was able to come in and join the fray.
3 quick kills, and it looks like once again Tufts has taken control of this early game, making sure that all lanes are pressured. Morn has visited a lot and has a lot of kills participation to his name, has had a lot of pressure all over the map, and is once again doing a really great job early on in this one.
Yeah, and again, like part of the reason that WPI fell so far behind last game was that they weren't able to completely capitalize on their ultimate abilities. And here again, we see Galio ultimate was expanded in the top lane, and though they traded the Shen ultimate for it, they lost a kill.
Jansu in the bottom lane, stacking up his call. He has the lethal tempo and the Berserker's Creed as well as that call. Gonna be super strong later on in the game. He's actually gonna pop that final hour, trying to go aggressive onto the WPI bot lane 1v2, but it's not a 1v2 for long, as here comes Constantine Valdor. He's gonna land that Zenith Blade onto the 80 carry. The Condemn is going to finish him off, and Jansu picks up another kill for himself. He's gonna cleanse away from the stun as well, but here come the TPs on the other side. Both junglers are fighting in the top half of this bottom lane, and it looks like Weapon has joined the party as well, as Morn will finally be taken down here. Midnight Lane is also here as well. Fear Beyond Death was not able to secure a kill for the side of WPI, but it looks like it's a 1-for-1. As WPI does a really good job at collapsing on a bit of an overextension from Jansu.
Yeah, and Jansu, he played that beginning relatively well, you know, with using the ultimate and the Q to try to weave around, make sure Xayah and Braum couldn't really like hold him down until Constant Balador can get there and help him get a kill. But good job from WPI catching out Morn on the back half of that and getting a kill to themselves.
And once again, we're talking about this, Adi. Looks like WPI is trying to go all in, using so many of their resources in these past 2 fights. They used the TP out of Urgot, they used the TP out of Galio, and both ultimates as well. And despite all of that, they are still unable to capitalize and still unable to get a lead for themselves here.
Yeah, and I think another big part of that was just that the fact that like Xayah and Braum didn't have their ultimates. Jansu playing really smart, realizing that the Vayne had that final hour, and Braum and Xayah didn't have the playmaking ability that comes from their ultimate, and capitalizing on that. But now, Braum and Xayah have those ultimate abilities, so we'll see what they can do.
Morn coming in for what could be a bit of a cheeky alcove gameplay maneuver here. Doesn't look like WPI can see him right now, and it looks like he might be trying to go aggressively here now. He has a Subjugate available, and it looks like he's going to land the pillar onto Casual. Constantine is going to Zenith Blade in. Doesn't have that Solar Flare available, but it's not going to matter. Jansu picks up his 3rd kill of the game for himself. onto the WPI support, and this is going to be a very strong Vayne, whether you're in this early game, but especially when you get into that late game.
Yeah, and I really like how Morn is playing this game. Yeah, there's a little bit less farm to his name, but he's getting those people that need the kills ahead, you know? Vayne is 3-0. Vladimir is up like 40 farm in the mid lane. Those carries are going to be ridiculous once we get to the mid game.
And 5 kills to 1, but the more important thing is 17k to 14k. First dragon picked up for the side of Tufts as well. That's going to be Mountain Dragon once again going to the Jumbos. And 3,000 gold lead this early in the game is almost damning for any team.
Yeah, and like it's really going to be up to, can WPI use those ultimate abilities effective to try to get back? That's kind of what we were talking about last time, kind of what we were talking about earlier this game. But I mean, if they're going to try to do it and pull out this game, it has to be now.
Yep, so far the one shining light here for the side of Tufts, for the side of WPI, sorry, is this Hecarim, has the Rift Herald, and is going to dive here onto Easy Life. There's a Hero's Entrance as well, and they're going to CC up Easy Life for an eternity, it seems like. Fear Beyond Death is going to scare Easy Life into the Death Realm there, and that's going to be another kill going over to the side of WPI. Rift Herald might be popped here to try and get some turret plating down as well.
And there we see a relatively effective use of those ultimate abilities. We have the Galio coming down, making to a really effective dive, targeting the person who can't get hit by a Shen ultimate because it is the Shen. And Shen ulti can't Shen ulti himself. So a really smart play from side WPI.
Oh, but it looks like Morn might have caught them out a little bit. There's the Subjugate, and I think it's just going to burn him down. The Smite, as well as the Ultimate, will take down the Urgot. So a bit of an overextension for some turret plates there, and it looks like Morn was able to capitalize on that with a kill onto the enemy top lane.
Yeah, and that was just a little too greedy. The Rift Herald hit, and I understand like trying to get that plate goal, but they were just too low from the back half of that dive, and Morn playing very well and getting the punish.
Yeah, really great job once again by Morn, doing so much work. Nice job there from the side of Weapon. Solar Flare was issued, but Weapon uses the Justice Punch to dash back and then forward, dodging the entire radius of that stun.
Yeah. And looking to this, WPI does look like they're trying to make some plays, but they have a clock, and those clocks' names are Vladimir and Vayne.
Yep, ticking. Time bomb it is. The Jansu might be caught out here as well. There's that Glacial Fissure, and that's going to be a nice shutdown going over to Pizza. Actually picking up a kill for themselves, knowing that Constantine was on that roam in the mid lane, decided to capitalize with a kill onto the enemy AD carry. Great job.
That was a little too cocky from Jansu. I mean, like, yeah, we saw him make that play earlier and get a good kill for himself, but the Xayah and the Braum had their ultimate abilities. They have the pick potential, you know? Though there was a cleanse, like, there's just too much CC, and Jansu falls because of it.
And that's going to be a big shutdown going over to Pizza. Has a lot of items available for himself. Probably has a full Essence Reaver upon his next back. So going to be a pretty strong late game champion as well. So it looks like it's going to be a bit of a dueling AD carry comp here. But take a look at this mid lane. Argentine Imports Vladimir has Lane Kingdom Weapon to the ground. 125 to 60. This man is doubling the Galio in CS and is doing so much work here in this middle lane. Already has that Spellbinder completed.
Yeah, and I mean, the Vayne might not be able to do too much to the Xayah later in these fights because Xayah has the ability to kite so hard and has that like meaty front line. But the Vladimir, if he like gets anywhere near that Xayah, the Xayah will evaporate.
Oh, it's my middle lane is looking for an aggressive play onto Easy Life. There comes that ultimate pop, and Easy Life's gonna have to flash to make sure the Fear Beyond Death does not land onto him, finishing him off with that lethal damage. So great play out of It's My Middle Lane, getting a summoner spell in exchange for that ultimate.
Yeah, and I really like that. Just playing aggressive, knowing your limits, knowing you have that kill pressure, and forcing Easy Life out of that lane.
Oh, Constantine Valdor is looking to go aggressive. Gonna flash Zenith Blade in, followed by the Solar Blade. There comes the Blade Caller to try and buy some time for himself. But it looks like Pizza might be in trouble. Doesn't actually end up finishing him off. And it looks like he's actually gonna almost die. Kadreep and Constantine both are gonna use stopwatches. But it's actually gonna be the Braum that picks up the kill for himself. And here comes Yujing Host Dragon. Gonna come in with the Onslaught of Shadows as well as the Stand United coming in as well from Easy Life. This is gonna be a big fight. There comes Weapon as well. Dying not before getting a kill for himself as well. Morn is coming in, and Argentine Import is here to join the party as well. It's going to be a double kill for the Trundle. Argentine is looking for another one. The Hemoflake is going to finish off Pizza, and the last member is going to fall as well. Yujing Host Dragon dies, and that's going to be a 4-for-1 for the side of Tufts.
I mean, that looked like a really good fight for WPI. They were able to kite that out so well, drag him out, get a kill, get their people down into the bot lane. But as soon as you see that Vladimir and the Trundle come in, and they kind of just wipe the entire fight.
It's going to be another tower picked up here in the top lane and the bottom lane. We did see top is my middle lane in that middle of the whole fight. Ended up picking up first turret for himself. Going to be a big influx of gold going his way as he ends up getting a lot of gold for himself there. We're going to see the dragon spawning here, and it looks like Tufts is going to be in position to pick the second dragon up for themselves. Once again, going to be that infernal dragon as we saw in the last game. So we're going to see either an Ocean and Cloud once again. Doesn't look like Yujing Host Dragon is going to try and go in. It's going to be dragon secured for the side of Tufts. It's going to be 2-0 on the dragon lead. And it's going to be a Cloud map for the next for the rest of this game.
Yeah, and just the members of Tufts are so strong right now. 140 farm and 2 kills to the side of Argentine Import. Almost 120 farm and 3 kills the side of the Vayne. They will, if they are like if they're left unchecked, you know, they're going to do a lot of damage in these fights. But like we saw in that last fight, there is a little bit of hope. If Zaya and Braum can, you know, play relatively well, get their team, help them peel, and get that damage down, they have a chance.
And Pizza actually going to be able to finish off this turret. It's actually now ahead of Jansu in gold. So despite losing on early in this lane, has a tower and has a CS lead for himself. And so he's actually now going to be ahead of this Vayne for the upcoming team fights.
I see Argentine Import going into the top lane, matching that Urgot. I think it's a relatively good move. Like, he's just fine, you know, getting that damage on the Urgot. He's relatively strong and farming up.
Ultimate was actually blown there from Yujing Host Dragon, scared of Morn, who has suppressed the attack and is actually going for more of a utility build. Going to go for Stone Plate first, despite being 4-1 and 4. I would have maybe expected to see more tankiness, but yeah, more damage. Sorry, but Morn is really just going for the team. Going to be popping the subjugate here, but we're going to see a team fight here in the mid lane. Kajreep and Constantine are in the middle of the enemy team. Nice flash taunt there from Weapon. Might be able to burst down Johnson, but no, not going to be enough. No, it is. As Kajreep picks him up with the final Q to finish him off, and it looks like it's going to be a good fight here for WPI. There's It's My middle lane in the middle of the enemy team comp, going to be picking up so many kills for himself. Easy Life will pick up one in return, but I don't think that they're going to be able to pick up any more, as Argentine Import might be going for a bit of an aggressive play, but will it cost him his life? No, but Easy Life might have dived right into his death, as It's My middle lane will pick up another kill for himself. There's going to be 2 kills over to the Urgot, and 4 kills overall to the side of WPI. A brilliant team fight for the Engineers.
Yeah, and I think, again, Johnson was just playing a little too aggressive. Like, he's still on a Vayne, you know, short range. If he can get locked down, you know, even with that cleanse, he will get burst down relatively fast. And it seems that kind of just led to the win for WPI in that fight. And as you can see, the goal lead is now relatively even. So WPI is getting back into this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's really impressive to see a team fight win coming out of WPI. Their mental must have been pretty low after that crushing first game, and you're already down 2 dragons and a bunch of gold in this game too, but you still strive to come back, and they're doing such a good job picking up a team fight win for themselves. They now have their top and bot laners both ahead in gold actually, and they're going to be doing a lot of heavy lifting in these upcoming team fights. We're going to see the Rift Herald picked up for the side of Tufts, but it's not really going to matter too much for WPI, as second Rift Herald doesn't really mean too much.
Yeah, the 18-minute Rift Herald is not worth as much as, say, the 10-minute one, but nonetheless, Tufts will take it, try to get a little more gold in their pocket.
Yeah, you know, if it's there for free, you might as well, but it looks like they're going to be going for It's My middle lane. Has that bounty on his head, but there comes the re-engage for the side of WPI. This could be huge. Argentine Import is trying to stay alive with the Hemoflake, but he's going to get shut down from the side of Yujing Host Dragon. There's the Fear Beyond Death doing so much work, fearing up the entire enemy team, and WPI looks like they're going to come out with another team fight victory. They end up taking down the Urgot, which was their intended goal, but it cost 3 lives on the side of Tufts.
Yeah, and that was just way too aggressive from the side of Tufts. I mean, like, yeah, I understood that they wanted to like try to bring back that pressure, but like they can't forget there's a Galio on the side of WPI. There were no minions there. Leona was way further than the any other member of the team there, and they just overextended really hard and got punished.
Yeah, really great job from WPI being able to collapse on these aggressive plays that the Jumbos have been going for. And it looks like it's really working on their favor. For the first time in what seems like all series, the Engineers have a gold lead against the Jumbos. Very surprising here to see. And it looks like they're going to be in the driver's seat for the next couple minutes of this game. And for Tufts, this is going to be really interesting here as you finally end up losing one of these team fights and end up on the back seat for the next couple of minutes. Adi, what do you think Tufts' game strategy should be while they are behind?
I mean, I think the first thing they gotta do is just like take a deep breath. Like that play was, it had the it kind of looked like a tilted play right there. You know, they felt like they should have won that last fight, and they really put way too many resources in, overextend, and just take a terrible fight. So I think they just gotta like slow the game down. You know, go back to that Vladimir and the Vayne carry and play around them a little bit better. Don't have the Vayne jumping in front line, and make sure those carries can solidify a win for them.
Cloud Dragon is available for the taking, and it looks like the Engineers have the inner handle of this Dragon Pit, and they're going to be in control of when and where these teams will fight for this next objective. We're going to see Argentine Import nearly finishing off his death cap, but it looks like WPI is going to try and go in aggressively here, and they're going to try and pressure Tufts off here as they were going for an aggressive play here on the mid-tier tier 1, but it looks like they're going to clear the wave and head back to the Dragon Pit where they have full vision set up. Oh, there's that Glacial Fissure, though. This could be a team fight. Morin has already popped that Gargoyle Stone Plate, and Argentine Import is trying to dive into the backline, but gets immediately chunked. Easy Life's imp into the backline, picks up a kill off the weapon, but that's a huge damage coming out from the Vladimir. Using Host Dragon is fighting for his life, but that's going to be another shutdown going over against the Hecarim, and it looks like Tufts has regained control of this lead. That's going to be a double kill going over to the side of Argentine Import, picking up a kill onto Pizza, but Constantine falls in return. But it's going to be a really nice trade going over to the Jumbos, 4-for-1, because they're going to get Tower as well as Soul Point here.
Yeah, really good job from the side of Tufts. I mean, like, Vayne did get a little bit caught out there, but Shen and Vladimir were able to like re-engage from the backline so well and apply so much damage, and the Vayne was able to survive, and they just got so much damage down.
And they pick up 2 towers for themselves. Morin will be soloing this Cloud Drag, getting 3-0 lead once again on the Dragons. And Rift Herald actually ends up getting another proc onto the Inhibitor Tower, which is going to be really big for some upcoming plays here for the side of Tufts, who now have regained control of the gold lead back at 3,000. You regain your confidence, and you get a bunch of kills onto your Vladimir and Vayne. They now have both are at 2 items. Death Cap was completed for Argentine Import, as the Rage Blade was completed for the side of Jansu, and it's going to be some 2 very scary carries for the rest of this gun.
Yeah, those are really big power spikes for both of them. Back in the Vayne meta, when Vayne hit Rage Blade, like, essentially that just means Vayne's full build. Like, Vayne's going to be super strong in these fights, and if Jansu can play this fight similar to the last one, staying back, making sure he uses the space that Easy Life and Argentine Import are able to create, you know, it seems like Tufts will have a pretty good chance of winning these fights. But for the side of WPI, I think they have to be a little more conservative with their pick tools. Like, I like the attempt to try to grab out Jansu, someone who's been like kind of overextending a lot this game. But in the end, they use all their tools, and then the Vladimir dives onto the backline, and there goes their team.
Very crazy plays coming out from both CSIs, and these team fights have really been up in the air. Some games have been going in favor. Some of these fights have been going in favor of Tufts, and other fights have been going in favor of WPI. So it looks like these teams have been very volatile here early on in this game, as this game looks a lot closer than this game 1. We're already past the point where Tufts have taken the victory, and this game is nowhere near finished.
Yeah, and if I'm WPI right now, I think I just I want to try to see if I can like make a play around one of these objectives, because when Cloud Soul hits, it's going to be a really big spike for Tufts if they're able to get it, and with the scaling on the Vayne and the Vladimir, it could be very scary.
Looks like Baron might be on the table here. Both sides are looking to clear some vision out in this top side jungle, but it looks like a bit of a death rush was set up for the side of WPI, and Using Host Dragon will pick up that Scuttler, going to regain some vision for themselves, but it would be really risky for either side to be attempting Baron at this stage in the game.
Yeah, and I mean, both sides like have lost 3 towers only, which means that they still have enough pressure to kind of like keep contesting that vision in there. So I want to see them keep doing that and try to make these plays around those objectives.
25 minutes into this game, we're really headed into like the mid-game portions of this game too between Tufts and WPI. Once again, best of 3. Tufts has this 1-0 lead, and they'll be trying to go for this sweep, and it looks like they're going to be going for a bit of a risky play, starting up the Baron for Tufts, and WPI is going to try and collapse on this. They have Ismai middle lane coming in, missing the ultimate actually, and this could be a big fight. They're going to be able to chunk out Ismai middle lane to very low HP numbers. Morn is going a little bit aggressively, nearly chunked out to death, but Argentine Import is here. He has a Spellbinder pop, and he has a lot of damage and healing for himself. It looks like they're going to be able to get out without using that, without having that Urgot ultimate do anything useful, and it looks like they might be back onto the Baron. No, it looks like they're going to peel off, but really great plays from the side of Tufts, just getting a lot of pressure from the side against WPI and helping them out a lot.
I mean, WPI was able to get them off that Baron, but it seems like inside middle lane was there way earlier than he should have been. Like, even with that Galio ulti, they just didn't have the numbers to contest Tufts there.
Turret picked up here in the top side. Argentine Import is just getting a lot of power here, a lot of gold and a lot of influence and a lot of healing actually as well. We do see a lot of grievous wounds being picked up on the side of WPI, which is going to be really important if you want to be able to stop this Vladimir.
Yeah, and I mean, they have the ability to like kind of hold him down. You know, we've seen the Braum and the Galio lock down Argentine Import and Jiangsu in those earlier fights, but if they don't have the grievous wounds, it might be for naught.
This Vayne is going to get stronger and stronger every minion that she kills, but the other person who we have to keep an eye out for is Pizza here on the Xayah. Once again, the gold lead is not super massive here in the bot lane, only 200 in favor of Jiangsu. So both AD carries will be super even in these upcoming team fights, and with Cloud Dragon spawning in 15, looks like we're going to see another one of those very soon.
Yeah, and like
it might actually be right now. Yujing Host Dragon gets chunked out immediately, and Pizza looks like he's about to get chunked down. Jiangsu will show who the stronger AD carry is right now. Constantine will take a kill onto Weapon, and Kazreep is the final casualty in this fight. A triple kill for Jiangsu, and It's My Middle Lane was not in that fight at all for the entire side, for that entire fight, and it looks like he might be the next target here. Zenith Blade is going to land, and he's going to get locked down and chunked out. An ace for the side of Tufts. They're going to get this Cloud Soul for themselves here.
Yeah, and it seems they probably just found themselves in a situation they didn't really want to. The Hecarim kind of just got chunked out really fast, and WPI wasn't able to react. And Pizza was sitting over the wall trying to create some distance, and it should have worked because Vayne has the shorter auto range. But Vayne was able to auto over the wall and just flash over and win that fight against Xayah.
Tufts is making their way over to this Baron. I think that they will have enough damage to just chunk it down before any opposition can come through, and that is going to be the case here. Baron secured as well for Tufts, and while it looked like WPI had a bit of an advantage here in the second game, Tufts is back, and they're back with a 7k gold lead.
Yeah, and that looks like a Leandri's is about to be finished for the side of Vladimir, or maybe not, we'll see. But with those items on the Vayne side, items for Vladimir, the gold lead, the Cloud Soul, the Baron, it's gonna take a lot for WPI to get back into this one.
Baron power play is for sure going to be a huge influx of gold in favor of the Jumbos. And WPI, they probably are just going to have to wait this one out for the next couple minutes. Don't think that they can fight with these big purple buff on the side of Tufts.
Yeah, and it's really going to see how much can Tufts do with this Baron buff. They have the Cloud Soul, they have the tools, but I want to see if, how much the base they can crack. It's still only 3 turrets to 4.
Lots of bounties on the side of Tufts University. We see Easy Life with the 150, Argentine Import with the 350, and Jiangsu is the story here. 1,000 gold bounty to his head, showing how far ahead he is now after winning that last fight. Now from 200 gold to 2,000 gold ahead of Pizza.
Yeah, but at the same time, that Xayah is going to hit relatively hard. Infinity Edge and Essence Reaver done with the RSC. If she's able to sit in the backline Free Fire, she might be able to melt through the side of Tufts.
We're going to see if that happens, but once again, very beefy frontliners on both teams, but with that Trundle here, with the Subjugate, going to be able to take out a lot of those resistances. We're going to see Argentine Import be collapsed on here, but it looks like he could turn this into a fight win for himself. There comes that Stand United coming in from Easy Life. Hemoplague has already been popped, and Argentine Import, despite being fought 2v2, is still at full health as he finishes off those 2 kills for himself. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Jansu actually will get taken down by Pizza, and this could be a fight win for WPI here in the middle lane. Pizza is the one still alive, using the Blade Collar to stun up Morn, and it looks like Morn is going to pop the Stone Plate and try and go in. Yujing Host Dragon is the next target, and he is slowly but surely, no, actually not going to be able to be taken down. Pizza is still left untouched here in this fight, and without this Vayne to really chunk anyone down, without the Vladimir as well, looks like Pizza was able to be left untouched for the most part, and Argentine might be the one in trouble now, as I don't think that he really has the range or the damage to try and go into Pizza. Actually, wow, that was a huge chunk onto all 3 members alive on the side of WPI, but it's only going to end up being a 1-for-1 trade. It's going to be Jungler for support, but Morn is going to look aggressively here. Argentine Import will pick up a double kill inside the base. 3 members of WPI are still ahead here to try and contest this. The Hemoplague was once again just used, but Fear Beyond Death, no! Actually ends up getting cancelled here, and that's going to be the kill going over on against Pizza as well. A triple kill for Argentine Import, make it a quadra against Weapon, and it was a valiant effort for WPI in this game too, but that is going to be game and series going over to the Jumbos, who take a 1-0 record here in the CSL split.
And that last fight just kind of showed how far Tufts was ahead. There was no ADC on the side of Tufts. There was no Vladimir applying the damage, but they were not able to kill the Shen or the Leona or the Trundle for a really long time. And then Vladimir just came in and did a ton of damage. Even we thought Vladimir was about to die. That E plus the W combo just destroyed the Xayah.
We saw some shining lights here from WPI in that game too. We saw them have a gold lead. We saw Pizza got a lot of damage onto the enemy team and get a lot of gold for himself as well. But at the end of the day, it was just Tufts with the better execution, the better macro, and the end of the day, coming home with a 2-0 sweep here of WPI. Adi, if you had to pick an MVP for this series for the side of Tufts, who do you think it would be?
I think Morin definitely played this game relatively well, but I gotta say Argentine Import kind of smurfed, especially in that last game.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, and this is Argentine Import letting the scene know that he is not here to be messed around with, doing so much work in both of these games. First on the Guardian Galio, and next on this Vladimir in a more of a carry sort of form here, doing so much damage and ending up picking up that win for the side of Tufts University. We're going to take a quick break, but right after don't go anywhere, sorry, because we're going to be right back with potentially a player interview. We'll see what we can do with that. But yeah, don't go anywhere, as we'll come back here to wrap up the show after this.
back, everyone. I am joined here by Aaron Hamburg, also known as Morn, the jungler from Tufts, just coming off of that win. Just really quickly, I have some questions for you. First of all, what were you guys what were your guys' thoughts going into both of the drafts for this match?
So, I mean, I think looking at their team, it seemed like their weakest point was probably their bot lane. So we did a lot of banning out of their support to take them off of safe picks and force them onto things that we could punish. And then generally around that, we were just trying to pick lots of dive things that could play around bot lane aggressively, like the Hecarim, like the Trundle. And the Vayne pick was a little out of nowhere, but we just wanted to give our bot lane chance that they could really succeed on here, and into 4 tanks it seemed like the right option. So that was generally the plan going into it.
Yeah, and you guys looked really strong all throughout the series. There was a little bit of a couple losses of fights in the mid game of game 2. Do you want to talk about just like what was going on around there?
I mean, I think generally it was just a little bit of a lack of communication around the fights. Like, I think everyone just felt very ahead and started to take fights that we weren't really talking about. And I think after maybe 2 or 3 kind of botched fights, we snapped back into playing smart and finished out the game. But that's definitely something that we're gonna have to keep working on.
Okay, and on the theme of like working on stuff, I think your guys are playing against Brandeis next week. What are your thoughts?
So, yeah.
What are your thoughts going into that? Just coming off this game, things you want to improve on, and how you're thinking it's gonna go.
I mean, I think we played them last year and it was pretty solid, and I think we're looking better than we were last year. So I'm confident that we can beat them. I think definitely we need to work on kind of closing out games a little more cleanly, and we need to keep working on kind of setting up for ganks and setting up for plays. And that's something that I think we actually did a pretty decent job of today, especially in the first game. But it's something that we definitely have lots of progress left to go on.
Okay. And final question. This is a question we usually ask at the end of these things, but do you have any shout-outs?
I mean, gotta shout out the rest of the team. They played really well today. Shout out the coaches for Alan and Brent, who set up our drafts for us beforehand and helped us come up with a game plan. Other than that, I mean, definitely shout out to you guys for casting this. This is the first week working with JumboCast, and it seems like it went really well from what I saw at least. So, good things to come for sure.
Well, thank you so much. Great job today. It was a really good performance. Good luck in your next ones. And I do believe we're going to a break now, so we will be right back.
Welcome back. I am back once again. I am Andrew Howe, joined by Adi once more. And Adi, after all of that, we got a great interview from Morn, and a quick 2-0 for the Jumbos in their first matchup of the CSL split against WPI.
Yeah, I mean, they were obviously a really strong team last year, coming in with a really good performance. I'm pretty excited for the rest of the season, especially to see this roster and see how they play out.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, we are going to close out the show for you guys, but we want to thank each and every one of you so much for watching, tuning in, and watching our Jumbos do the work here on Summoner's Rift. Make sure to tune in next week to see the Tufts Blue Team play against Brandeis, as Adi said, next Saturday, once again at 3 p.m. We'll be back here delivering some high-quality League of Legends gameplay to you guys. So once again, I'm Andrew, this is Adi, and we just like to say, have a good night. Thank you so much for watching once again.
See you guys later.